That could be my question for the launch to speak, and then we can go about it without this like pressure of like people know like, oh, he pants and shirts.
Hello. I don't see that anybody is watching yet, so if you're out there and watching, can you ask a question? We can test that. You can work through this with me. I have never done this before. Brand new technology. Amazing. Amazing. Hello. You can also email me questions. Hello, hello, hello. Is everybody late?
Well, I think it's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna meet you out there. I think it's performance funnel before this funnel. So the just like build this podcast. I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Hi. Hi, you're here. Awesome. That's great. Katina. Awesome. And I see there's 3 other viewers as well that have just joined. That's very cool. My deepest apologies. I'm going to keep apologizing. It's the first time I've ever done this before. It's a very exciting way to get to talk to all of you. I just want to, you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. So my apologies for that in advance. Looks like we only have 2 viewers. I'm just going to give people a few more minutes to get here. And I'm going to see if I can turn off that light because it's really annoying. So hold on and bear with me. Hold on. Hi, everybody. I see every time I'm coming back, more and more people are arriving. That is great. We're going to get to this overview in just a minute. Very excited to have you all here. And great. I'm just going to get started, and as more people arrive, I will get back to some other questions. Many of you here have found the question and comment section, so that's working. Thank you, Danica, and thank you, Katina, for chiming in and letting me know that you're here and that this answer system works. That's great. So when you have a question, please go ahead and just type your questions into a field that obviously is apparent to the people who are watching. I don't know where it is from your point of view, but that will be great, and I will get to that as we move along. So I'm going to be speaking about the think tank and what that means for you, designers, thinkers, tinkers, makers, people with ideas about the kind of clothes they want to be wearing in the next few months, and what Betabrand is all about. So I'm going to grab my notes and speak to you from them. So I am Liz Rossof. I am the director of Betabrand's think tank. Betabrand is a company that develops its products by crowdsourcing and crowdfunding all the new design ideas. So by crowdsourcing, we mean that we We accept submissions from people of all design backgrounds for their ideas for new products. And we work with our audience to develop those ideas into the thing that people want to buy. And that section of our website is called the think tank. And that is the section of the website that I'm responsible for. And that section of the website heavily relies on the participation of super great people like you who are just ripe with ideas and ready to share them with the world. When ideas go get traction, they're getting a lot of attention in our think tank, that's when we know to earmark them for our development. So unlike trying to do a Kickstarter on your own to develop the greatest new blazer that you've thought of, we actually have an infrastructure, a team of 70 people here at Betabrand in San Francisco that do all of the development, the sourcing of trims and fabrics and manufacturing and ambulance and all of that. Plus we have a marketing team of about 12 people, e-com team, who spend a lot of money on ads online, driving traffic to your product to help you sell more units. It's really exciting, and without our collaborators, we don't have very much. And we have our designing collaborators, which are hopefully going to be you people, and we have our customer collaborators. And together, we all build this brand because no one is telling us what to make except for our audience. We're not following trend books. We're not buying off of lines of giant manufacturers. And we don't have teams of designers sitting in studios, nameless, working on projects and not getting recognition for their ideas. So it's a totally brand new model. And it's a very exciting one. And I'm very hopeful that you'll be able to participate with us. So that's a bit about Betabrand, and that's a bit about me, and a bit about what the think tank does. So I want to get to it. I want to talk about submitting to the think tank and getting us to pay attention to your idea and getting our audience and your audience, because you're going to be sending everyone you ever met to the website to vote for your product, what needs to happen. And many of you got an email from me that outlines the kind of products that have been very successful at Betabrand. And we do sort of have a feeling of comfort and multifunctionality, work appropriate, travel appropriate, weekend appropriate, and those garments that can sort of fit into all of those areas of one's life are definitely the most successful. And we can go through the website later if that's interesting to people, but I hope you've taken a good look and see, like, our dress pant, yoga pant collection is giant. The Work It collection for women is giant. Dress pants, sweatpants for men is also giant. Our pinstripe executive hoodie, the travel collection that we're developing has also been very well received. So garments that sort of fit into that multifunctionality already have a good possibility of being successful with the company and with our audience. That being said, bringing new ideas is absolutely necessary and interesting for the evolution of the company. And when you submit an idea, the most important thing is not to have every single thing figured out in terms of the construction and the fabric. The most important thing really is that you've identified a problem and a solution, or a situation and the most appropriate garment for it. We storytell at Betabrand to present us with something that has a great title, like a great title for a book, just this great zinger of a product name, and then to follow through with the scenario and the problem that the garment is solving, or the situation that it's improving, or the necessity for that piece is really a way to get it. to land that resonation with our audience. Let's see, what else? There's a lot more. And meanwhile, I see the tickers going up in terms of how many people are watching, and I just wanted to thank those people who've just joined us. There'll be time for questions. If you have questions, you can type them in. I'd ask maybe you just hear me out first, and then you can ask more questions, and I can go back and review things. This will also be broadcast on YouTube. I think it's being recorded and will be immediately available. I realized last week after my 5th or 6th hour-long conversation with designers on the phone that I just needed to talk to everybody at once and save my voice. So I really do appreciate you coming and taking the time to listen to this. So that was basically what makes a great submission. A potential collaborator emailed me many questions, which was very, very helpful earlier this week. And she was asking about the submission or talking about her own line. And she said she already had a lot of products made and photographed, a lot of prototypes. And she wanted to know if she could use her own images in the pitch for the crowdfunding. And the answer to that is absolutely. It doesn't have to be something that you've already prototyped. But if it is, we absolutely want to see photographs. You're welcome to send it in. I can give you our FedEx number. You can have it delivered to us. We'll send it right back if we don't need it for more photography. Absolutely. Further developed designs, the more you can give us to communicate it, the better we're going to understand it. So that being said, it could also just be a sketch on a napkin, and we'll work together to make that communication to the audience better. It could be a couple words, you know, Liz, how do you feel about this? I'm thinking about bike, and I'm thinking about speed, and I want to have this aerodynamic piece, or, you know, whatever, and we can go from there. So when we've decided that we think that this is a project that our audience will dig and that you'll dig and everybody's on board for supporting you and your idea, it goes live into the think tank, and those assets are built between you and us. If you have graphic design skills, if you have illustration skills, and we can use more of your hand in that presentation, that's fantastic. Sometimes people make videos. Sometimes they can also just send us raw footage, and we can put a video together if we think a video is really appropriate and important for that page. And once something is in the think tank, it becomes your job to make sure everyone you've ever met knows that you're doing this, that you're participating in the think tank, and that you have this great idea up there. And you want them to come to our website, and you want them to vote for you. And why you want them to vote for you is that you need to demonstrate that there is support for the idea. We have a think tank digest that goes out every other weekend. We also get a mention in Tuesday and Thursday's Betabrand main newsletters. Our audience is about 300,000 subscribers right now, and they get to react to that. But the hope is that you've been able to broadcast it to your friends and family and friends of family and family of friends the days before we show it to our audience, so it demonstrates that there's already an interest in the product. There is no hard cutoff. 2 years ago we said, oh, if you cross 100 votes, the likelihood is we will make it. The truth of the matter is, to see 100 votes overnight now is not uncommon, and in a sense, the products in the think tank are competing against each other, because we have our development team that's growing as interest is growing. But you want to have more votes than the guy to your right or your left, because we need to put our efforts into developing the things that are getting the most attention. And I'm so sorry that I can't see you on here, because I just want to see your heads going like, yeah. But hopefully I'll get some feedback from you in a minute. So let's keep going here. Let's see, let me just reflect back on my notes for a moment. Okay, so in this story, in the think tank, it's also important to think about the fact that the garment is something that people are first voting on the idea, and secondly, crowdfunding with their money. So they're now putting money down. All that money is refunded, as are the rights to the garment, if it doesn't tip in the crowdfunding. And by tipping, that means we set a number that we need to sell as a minimum to be able to go forward with the purchase order. So we're collecting money payment on the garment before we're even manufacturing it, which is a fantastic environmental, economical, awesome business model, and it works. And it's great. So the story, the product can't just be nice looking. We have to have more, because I can go out, we live in San Francisco, you guys live all over the world, probably in areas where you can go out and get a cute outfit in a couple of hours of looking around. We need to make sure there's a bigger story there and keeping people interested and engaged in the development of the product. So you have to convince people that the idea is worth voting for and the product is worth waiting for. Once something is earmarked for development, the development process time can vary. As you very well know, what it takes to develop a t-shirt is a lot different than what it takes to develop a technical outdoor jacket, like a technical athletic jacket or something, a blazer that turns itself inside out, etc., or a bag. So the development time does vary. But the more votes something has, the more engaged our viewers are with the product, the bigger priority it has in our development cycle. And the bigger rush we are to get it into crowdfunding, because we want to start making money on the product and not just sit around and talk about it for too long. And another question that was sent in was, will the products be made out of the same quality materials as my original sample? So that was also coming from the same person that had their prototypes. And the answer to that question is, we will try to get as close to those materials as possible. We do want to make things a price point that makes sense for our community. We don't want to cut any corners in that way, but we will look for the most cost appropriate alternatives. For example, if you're using cashmere, if you're using fabrics that are just, you know, $30 a yard, that's probably something that we're going to have to look for an alternative in. But will the quality of the garment be in line with our brand's established quality? Absolutely. These are Betabrand products. They have our wovens in the garments, but the collaborating designer's name is all over the product from its inception and onward. You can see in the think tank, and I will try to share that screen with you. Let's see here. Sorry about my clicking around. I am new to this, so thank you for your patience. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So, share. Here we are. So here we are in the think tank, and this is a lot of these right now are a collaboration that we have been doing with CSGO Valve, which is an online gaming company. They have 18 million viewers. Actually, our newsletter subscription rate just went from like 300,000 to like 400,000 in a week because of it. And this is an amazing dress that we're doing with 3M. Who knew that the company that makes your tape also has an R&D department that employs 3 full-time fashion designers, garment designers. Kind of fascinating stuff. I had no idea. So this is a big brand, but you see their logo over our logo and their whole explanation of the garment, and they're listed as the designer as well. You can go find other people that did this. Jennifer Cody with her no sweat dress. It's really wonderful. Jennifer Cody there over Betabrand. She's a wedding photographer. She doesn't have her own logo or brand, so we just have her name there. Here's one from me. Again, the name and my image plus my description. And in this description, your designer bio is where we can put link backs to your website if you want to share your work with other, with the people who come check it out. This is Lobo Mal. This is actually her second of 3 products that she's doing with us. She's from Philadelphia. She's super fun to work with. She's been fantastic. I found her walking a show, or I found one of her reps that just didn't feel like she was doing right by her. And we put her ready to go kimono up this summer, and it's sold like 350 units. It's been doing great. Again, you can see her brand logo over Betabrand. So I'm gonna stop that. Oh, hi, David Isaac. Someone told me they were watching. Hi. Let me know you're there. I just see this ticker like hovering between, 11 and 16 viewers, but it doesn't tell me who is there. So thank you. I'm remembering the conversations that I've had with people, and it's nice to know that you're there. So thank you. Thanks for showing up. Okay, so let me get back to where I was going there. Yeah, so they're Betabrand products. They have our wovens in them. We're handling all of your development, your sourcing, your production, manufacturing, fulfillment, marketing, everything. So what you get to focus on is creating new ideas and promoting through your networks. Once we have developed and costed for our manufacturing channels, we will do photography on the product. We will make every effort to make sure that the collaborating designer not only appears in the gallery with the garment, but also has a say in the creative of how we present the garment. We do approach our creative from a storytelling, more journalistic standpoint than just studio shots. You will see on our website we're very outstanding in the industry. We don't just do studio front side back shots. We show the clothes out in the world. Also, our models are our customers. People want to be on our website, and we love putting them there. It's really great. They're our friends, they're our employees, they're our customers. They're real people. We don't hire models. And that's sort of part of our community feeling, and it's part of what resonates with our loyal customers and our fan base. So once it's in crowdfunding is really when things kick into high gear. The crowdfunding phase is when the collaborating designer is making their highest percentage of revenue share, which is 10%. And that's 10% of sales. So if your product is selling for $100, you're getting $10 off of every sale. If your product is selling with a discount, that is folded into that equation, but basically for every $1,000 that is generated in revenue, you're getting $100. And that's during the crowdfunding phase. And that is when the majority of the sales happen. It also indicates to us the kind of lifetime that a product may have on our site. So if a product needs 50 units for us to be able to manufacture it, because our manufacturing minimum is less than 200, and it slowly crawls toward 50 units, we probably know that we won't be making more than 200, even if it does tip. If it sells 50 units in a day, we're onto something, we're ready to roll, we're already thinking new colorways, we're already thinking expansions on the product. We're already thinking like, let's turn this into something big. Just like in the think tank and the voting, as it's getting a lot of attention in voting, if that kind of velocity and attention and excitement continues into crowdfunding, it just starts opening doors to other possibilities. So this is also when, let's see, this is when the collaborating designer, again, needs to make their biggest pushes. All those people that voted get alerted through us. And also we send emails on your behalf to those people. And then it's following up, continuing to post on your social media, continuing to post to your friends and family, and getting everybody to be salespeople for you, to be ambassadors to your product, to represent you. If some people are social media shy or feel uncomfortable self-promoting, then you've got to find your best friend who's ready to do that for you. It's really, it helps tremendously when people are on it and ready to share. Those have been by far our most successful collaborations, are when people step up and really let everyone they know about the product and encourage people to buy it. So let's see. So on the 10% of sales during crowdfunding, for example, Melissa Fleiss, who did our all-day coat with us, made nearly $10,000 that month, which, as you know, as designers, is a lot of money to make off of one design. And one design is a big deal. I'm not saying that it's super easy to come up with one design, but you're in this business, and I wouldn't be surprised if many of you have 5 workable ideas in a day. And it's just kind of getting them up there, sketching them out, bringing it to us, and we'll put it through the machine, and the things that are sticky we get to make. And then you actually start making money, and you're not sorting your own wovens or worrying about the zippers or having to deal with fulfillment and overseeing manufacturing and all that stuff. After crowdfunding, and this is a new format, so those of you who are tuning in who have worked with us before, you worked under a slightly different format, and we can talk about that separately. Hi. Yeah, come on in. Sorry, our wonderful cleaners are here, so she might be walking around. So after crowdfunding, the commission on the revenue goes to 5% for the next 11 months. So you're paid for a full year on the product. And the reason it goes down to 5% is, one, the majority of your work needs to happen in the crowdfunding period in terms of promoting. And two, we actually start spending a tremendous amount of money on advertising. We're an e-com company, so the way we get in front of people is by spending money on ads. And it is not uncommon for a product to have about 50% of its revenue going to ads. And then we have the 70 people that help make your product come to life that we have to pay. So there's a lot of work and a lot of support that goes into it. And we decided that we wanted to make it so the highest percentage revenue share happened for the designer in the time when there's the highest velocity of sales, which is in the crowdfunding period. You know, if you do a product with us and it does really well, or it just even does okay, we can talk about augmenting those percentages or that amount of time once we've established that relationship with you. Second, third, fourth, fifth products, there certainly is room to talk about that, but this is sort of the base contract. Our hope is that we get to liberate you from worrying about the minutia of design and keep you in that creative space. And somebody wanted to know what succeeds at Betabrand and what price points are the best selling on the site. I talked about this in the beginning. What succeeds at Betabrand has been things that are multifunctional, multi-occasion, easy to care for, comfortable, and have a great story, really resonate with people. Like, we want to show them the situation that the dress is perfect for, the situation that the shirt is perfect for, the story they can tell when someone realizes that their quarter-round pants, that the quarter-round pants that you're wearing actually have a horizontal stripe instead of a vertical stripe. We want to give the story to our customer. Our quarter-rounds still do wonderfully on our site, and it's one of our heritage products, and people love telling the story. And when they came out, we created all of this pseudoscience around them being more aerodynamic, being quieter, lowering your crotch heat index, which isn't even a thing as far as I know. But now Lululemon makes the ABC pants, so you know it's catching on. And let me see. Oh, hello, hi, Kristen. Hi, Brad. Hi, Brad. Great to see you. So happy that you're here, everybody. Okay, great. So Brad had a question. Are we manufacturing domestically or internationally? I had not addressed that yet. So most likely, the first round of a development of a new product will be made manufacturally. Unless it's manufactured, will be made manufacturally. Yeah, will be made domestically. We cost things for domestic production unless we know that it is clearly going to be something that goes overseas, something that's a very technical product, something with you know, sealed seams or, you know, specialty fabrics and really complicated construction. Then we know that the minimums are going to be higher, and we're going to need to take it overseas. But generally, if the production run is under 500 units, that's something that we do here in San Francisco. But all of our development, all of our samples are sewn actually right here in our office at 780 Valencia. And if you're anywhere near San Francisco, do come by. We have our one and only shop here. The selection is limited. There's definitely more available online than that's in the shop. But that's our one spot. Our store does about 3% of what the website does. And this year over year, we've been growing 100%, which is super exciting. So this year we're on track to hit about $18 million in sales, which is super wonderful. The first year I worked for the company, we barely scratched 3 million. So it's been a wonderful time in my life to get to see the company grow. Hi, Kiana. Thank you. Now everyone's like, Jimmy, and I'm here. That's great. So I hope that answers a question about manufacturing. Yes, we do the first rounds, lower runs domestically. When we see that we can bump up those POs and we're selling more units, we take it overseas. Are there any more questions? I've covered a lot here, and I'm sorry that I actually don't have people in my ear. This is very odd that I am not able to communicate with you. Oh, okay, good. Brad, another question. Thank you. Are designers responsible for tech packs, and is there a standard if so? Fantastic question. Designers are not responsible for tech packs. However, if you have that information, you are more than welcome to give it to us. It certainly would expedite, hi Michelle, it would certainly expedite the development and potentially the whole sourcing and costing process if you were able to give us a tech pack. So non-specific versus super specific, it's all good. Whatever information you have, we want to see it. If you just have an idea, you want to send me an email, you're not really ready to submit the whole thing, Liz, what do you think of this? we can have a little chat and bounce some emails back and forth. I can help you position it in a little stronger way. Yeah, but I know tech packs, tech packs. No, we will do that for you. We will do that for you. But if you have something, a button that you want to use, a fabric that you want to use, a zipper that you want to use, we will look into it. If it's a $10 zipper, I don't think we're going to be using it. We'll look for something that functions and looks and has a similar hand feel to it. Great, another question. Does the designer still own the design, and can they sell them somewhere else? This is also a very great question. They cannot sell it as we have it on Betabrand. So Betabrand, in the end, will own the development that Betabrand put into what you've signed off on to us. Like, so we will own our pattern, our version of what you've done, because we have to change. We end up, there hasn't been a single person that's handed us something and we've kept it exactly the same, just because of like our manufacturing, or we had to change, we couldn't source that fabric, or we had to do something that altered something, and then it resulted in like a slightly different shaped hood, or a slightly longer hemline, or a slightly different thing, or a different number of buttons, etc. So the short answer is you can. The longer answer is it has to be different enough, and it cannot be called the same thing. So we put a lot of work into our storytelling. There hasn't been a product, maybe the holster, like Cat Dubois holsters, which are really cool, like hip pack, that's like a fanny pack, but it's rad. She came to us with that name, holster. I think she sells them on Etsy for like 3 times the amount of money because she spends so much time making them. I think she maybe still calls them holsters, but we, I guess, now own really the name holster, but she may call them something else, or we may, I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know. It's sort of case by case. I'm kind of stumbling on that answer, but basically we have an exclusivity on it for a length of time, and you can take the concept somewhere else, but it has to be changed. Does that make sense? Let me know. So you're not going to be seeing Melissa Fleece all-day coats at Neiman Marcus next year. She may get a contract with Neiman Marcus to make a coat. It may be Ponte. It may be her style, which is pretty apparent. But it's not going to be the all-day coat, and it's not going to be the one we made. There are some designers who have continued to carry something similar in another colorway on their personal websites, but it always has to sell for more money than what we have on Betabrand, which probably only makes sense because they can't get the price unless they're paying themselves nothing. Oh, good. There's a bunch of LOLs coming. Thank you. Yeah, you just can't, you're not going to be able to take it to market at the price that we can, because we have these established relationships with manufacturers, and all of that factors in, as you know. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. And I'm going to go through these. Is there a max price point for a design that you would not exceed? Well, we have not been successful. We have not been successful selling jackets at more than $350. And even that is a pretty big stretch, I think, for our community. Our dresses usually land between $90 and $120. our jackets, like suit jackets, sort of, and hoodies, pinstriped executive hoodies, those land between 160 and 180. We've had the Margaret Cho jumpsuit. I don't actually remember what the price point on that was, but I think it was somewhere around 180. It's a good thing just to look around our website. The Melissa Fleece jacket is $220. Full price on that is $220, I believe. And then our jeans, we try to keep jeans and pants. We try to keep our Ponte pants are like 90, but our jeans, men's pants, women's jeans are about 110. And some of those are actually selvage denim and domestically made, and we keep that price point really accessible, which is nice. Definitely. So we're definitely more expensive than the shop at the mall, but we deliver a really good product because we're direct to consumer. We don't wholesale. We actually are able to provide pretty fair costing on the customer side. Oh, so who determines pricing? Excellent question. The pricing is determined really just by the manufacturing costs. We sort of agree, or the design department agrees, our merchandisers agree on a price point that we're aiming for during development, which can certainly be transparent with our collaborating designers. But ultimately, we're going to be looking for about a 70% margin on costs because there are discounts out there on our website. It's pretty accessible for people to find ways to get 20% off, et cetera. So we aim for about a 60 to 70% margin. So there's not really a fixed price that we couldn't exceed. It's a bunch of checks and balances put together. A lot of things that determine the price. So if you want to make the next hottest jacket that's $700, I don't think our audience is going to support that, because we want to sell it at $250 and sell 8 times as many, which ends up being more money in the bank. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? You're always very welcome to email me, liz@betabrand.com, for any other questions or concerns. I am thrilled at the response that we've gotten from putting a few ads up on different, stylecareers.com and a couple of other job boards. It's been very, very exciting. It's always a thrill. I love my work. I love getting to meet people like you, and although I feel like I'm saving myself a sore throat by getting to talk to 20 of you at a time, it's definitely bizarre not getting to hear your voice on the other end. So do feel free to reach out, and definitely go through our website, explore what we've got there. Also, our YouTube channel is great because you can see a lot of our designer features on our YouTube channel. A lot of times people have just shot footage with their iPhone horizontally in HD. That's very important to remember. Always shoot your photographs horizontally for our company and our videos. Yeah, when can you come to SF? Brad, yes, awesome. Definitely come visit anytime. Let us know when you're here, and maybe I'll get to where you are as well. And okay, another question came in, which is great. Is the designer involved in the development process? Yes, David, that's a very good question. And yes, the designer is involved with the development process. As you know, the development process can be pretty quick. And so a lot of that is emailing updates, sending images, you know, here we go, this is what we've gotten, this is where we've landed, this is the fabric we've chosen, how do you like it? There's a lot of communication that goes back and forth between our design team, our head of design, and our collaborating designer. If you're in the Bay Area, it's really easy because you can just pop in and check it out really quick. Otherwise, we have to default to email and these sort of Google chats and whatnot. And it's worked. It's definitely worked. It's not without its problems, but we're getting a lot better at it. We're getting a lot better at asking better questions up front, and getting better at circling back with designers for sure. So yes, the designer is involved with the development process to the extent is kind of up to them. We have some collaborators that really don't have design experience. And by the way, those people have a totally different tier of compensation, which usually involves just getting a free product and like $150 to the store or something, or maybe it's a little bit more, I can't remember, but there's, yeah, that's a whole different thing. It's great. It really helps us move the company forward, the brand forward, and get people's ideas out there. They still get all the credit for having those ideas. But if we have to develop the concept and the artwork and the everything and do all the fabric sourcing, you know, people don't know if they want knit or they want woven, and they're further removed. They're not trained designers, I guess is what I'm trying to get at there. And some people just hand it over and they say, do what you need to do. The designer is involved in the process, as is our customer. So when there's an issue over what colorway, we usually send a poll out to the people who are voting, or we include a poll on that page, and we get the data immediately from the consumer, what they want. So if the designer absolutely wants something in turquoise, and we may have sewn it in available fabric, which happened to be charcoal, we can show both versions and have the audience vote on it. And if 70% of the people say they want it in charcoal, we bring that data back to the designer and we say, well, 70% of the people who voted on your product would prefer it in charcoal. What do you think about that? Most people who want to start making money and seeing their clothes on the street will say, let's go with what the consumer wants. If you don't care, you don't care about making the money, you don't want to see, you know, if you want to be exclusive and be in a boutique and have it absolutely your vision all the time your way, that's awesome. Then Betabrand might not be exactly the place for you right now. But it's possible. I'm all for presenting the ideas as they come from your brains, and then we work through the process together. But the designer is aware of that polling, is aware of those options, etc. Are there any other questions? I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to show you a video that I love from our company. And then maybe you guys can ask more questions while it's playing. Let's see, where is this? I'm going to share this video with you, if I can pull it up. Let's see here. Let us see. Oh, where is that video? Sorry. This is our video page, by the way, where you can see a lot of super amazing videos and features. This is the Melissa Fleiss. Oh, here, let's just watch Melissa, actually. She's fantastic. Please.
right way for everyone to express themselves. It's about your individual taste and style, and I think it should go without judgment. We want to thank you so much for supporting us in the crowdfunding phase, and we're so excited to introduce the coat in black. And please leave us feedback on what you'd like to see next and why you love this coat so much. Thank you.
Okay, hey, I'm back. There's another question that's come in. So this is like a good idea. So there was another question about if the designer wants to invest more time and money in the collaboration, is a higher percentage given? Actually, the 10% is where we max out. That's the highest percentage. But I may have missed it in the beginning. I was saying that after the first design, there is the possibility of changing that 10%, 5% measurement, and there's a little room to wiggle with that. We haven't exactly nailed down how that will go, first design, second design, third design, but there definitely should be an incentive for you to come back with another project. And in that case, that the 10% time window could be extended, or various things to support the designers that we want to establish a loyalty with. Absolutely. So so I hope that answers your question with that. I'm going to show another video that I love, and we will keep doing that. That's pretty fun. I'll just let me get to, where do I want to show that video here? Let's show that video here. All right. Oop. One moment, please. Okay, so that video always makes me a little teary. It brings me a lot of pride in our company. Just, great soundtrack. Whoa, whoops. Hold on one second. I was in my ear with something else. Yeah, so the one thing I should definitely let you know about that video was that it was basically 100% user-generated content. That was all those action shots, jumping out of planes, skiing, being in Antarctica, all of that stuff. We didn't pay for any of that footage. Those are like, just, what's that with a wing? Red Bull. Like Red Bull could have made an ad like that and they would have spent $1 million on insurance alone. Those are all our fans who love our clothing and love what we do, and they submitted that footage to us. And then there's also some clips of the various designers that we've worked with on their projects. And it's a really exciting movement. We're really here democratizing trends. Like, we don't really care what the journals tell us what's coming up. We care what your ideas are, and we care how our audience receives them. And we want to put the consumer and the designer in the driver's seat. And so far, so good. We're making it happen, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. I've got another question here from Brad. So no kids designs. No, at this point, no. It's not a hard no. It's not a no, never, ever no. But at this point, no. There's a lot of regulations that go into children's clothing that we're not really ready to take on. We're kind of, working really hard right now on and managing everything that we have. So we aren't now. We've made like the disco pants for babies, and that was great. We may do that from time to time just as a novelty piece, but a full collection of children's is not in the short-term plan. Yes, and there is another question, not sure if it was discussed earlier, but what is the printing process used to apply images on fabrics? Very good question. We actually use a variety of printing processes depending on the art and depending on the fabric quality. We are very open to accepting surface pattern designs. Conversational prints are super hits on our website. You can see with like certainly our poo emoji shirt and dress, the Heck Aloha, our fungi prints, our space inspired prints. People love our printed shirts. Absolutely. If you are a surface pattern designer and want to start submitting your repeats, do it now. We're looking for sure, and we're going to be launching probably a whole section of the website that's just focused on surface pattern art, and asking our audience to tell us what they want to see it on. Putting up the print, asking should it be a long sleeve shirt, short sleeve shirt, men's shirt, women's blouse, women's dress, what style of dress, should it be pants, should it go away? All of these questions get asked in the think tank. So I hope that answers your question, Michelle, but basically any and all to get to the necessary end is going to be my response to that question. Anything else? I'm going to encourage you to, I'm going to encourage you to continue looking at our website. I'm going to encourage you to continue thinking of the amazing ideas that you think of. I'm going to encourage you to have the courage to put those ideas forward, and to let us promote you, put your name into the world, give you credit for the hard work that you do and those genius ideas that come out of your brain. It's a really great opportunity, and I'm thrilled. So do reach out on my email, liz@betabrand.com, with any questions, follow up. I'll be happy to speak further with you individually. I'm just glad I got to cover the basics with you tonight. So thank you so much. And so strange to end it when I can't see you. Anyway, thank you, and I look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Good night. Sleep well.